speaking of owning things, shall we talk about Susan Hall and Nick Ferrari today?
That was a good segue.
Thank you. I've been thinking about that, sitting on that for about a minute and a half.
Have you? Is that why you suddenly got quite agitated when I was talking then? Because you knew it was there?
No, that was me thinking about Nunu. that was that.
Okay.
So moving on from Nunu, speaking of Susu, the Tory London mayoral candidate Susan Hall was on Nick Ferrari on LBC this morning, and she was showing her arse on this and how shit she is as a candidate. Shall we do the clip?
Yeah.
Roll the clip.
Who owns the bridge, Susan Hall?
Well, it's between the two councils, apparently. It's not very clear. But at the end of the day, the mayor is in charge of London, and if things are not working, they have to step in.
Well, I'm a bit disappointed by this response because it shows a basic factual misunderstanding of the case. The bridge doesn't belong to two councils. It only belongs to one council, which is Hammersmith and Fulham.
Can I just say one thing?
Well, you have got your facts wrong, haven't you?
I will not promise anything unless I know where the money is coming from.
What's a copper urn?
I think they're on about. I think they start about 30 something, and it goes up from there.
Right. So you're seeking to recruit more officers.
Yeah.
You don't actually know how much they earn.
I think they cost us a Bobby cost about 60k with the ongoing costs. Don't forget, it's not just their wages.
Sorry, £60,000.
I think you have to estimate around 60k because of their pensions and everything else.
Yeah. But what's the starting salary?
I don't know what the one is now. They're being given a 5%. Oh, I probably should know what nurses earn and teachers earn.
All right, it's £36,000. So, how are you going to get more?
Right. So there is a problem with recruitment. I would suggest it's because police are being so bad-mouthed in London.
Would you alter bus fares?
You're going back to finance
But
again.
what is the bus fare? How much do you pay to get on a bus currently?
I don't use them. I use trains all the time.
You don't know what a bus fare is?
No.
Susan Hall, you don't know who owns Hammersmith Bridge, you don't know what a police officer makes, and you don't know the bus
I
fare.
said to you in the 30s, as you full well know.
Yeah. She seems dreadful as a candidate.
Yeah.
Eva, what are your thoughts on Susan Hall and the Conservatives' chances in the mayoral election?
I just wonder why the Conservatives, or when the Conservatives gave up on the mayoral race altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Because
they're not even trying. They're not even vetting this woman.
You could have gone to Trafalgar Square 4 a.m. on a Friday and found someone better than Susan Hall.
Mm-hmm. Do you think there's an aspect of it of just putting forward shit candidates to hope that Labour are going to keep putting Sadiq Khan forward so they can continue to demonise him in some way?
That, yes. Hypothesis. London is extremely expensive to run. Extremely expensive. TfL it sucks at the coffers, right? Would you want to have a Conservative government and a Conservative mayoral candidate? Because then when things happen like, TfL needs another £30 million in funding, just bloody Conservative-led London. It's the bloody Conservative-led government too. It's much better to say Labour-led London.
It's like forecasting a year ahead now, right? Where Keir Starmer's going to be the Prime Minister, Sadiq Khan is going to be the Mayor.
And they're like, you have it all.
Nothing is changing. Sadiq can't blame the Conservative government anymore. He can't blame Keir Starmer. That's an attack line for the Conservatives to have.
I think I think you absolutely can blame the Conservatives still, because you can say, well, they were in charge for 13 years and this is month 6.
Yeah, but then they
say,
I think he's in charge of a few of his own budgets, and he spent it all on, he pissed it up the wall by spending it on things like, I don't know, free primary school meals.
Nunu's for all rented accommodation.
He had the first Nunu. Do you know what I liked about this interview with Nick Ferrari? Is the contempt Nick Ferrari showed for Susan Hall and her lack of seriousness as a candidate, which I actually think needs to be extended to the wider Conservative Party. Instead of political journalists, just indulge them. Just indulge the 5 families and pretend they're important. They're not important. They're fucking nobodies who are going to have nothing to do with anything in 6 months, 9 months, whatever. You are making yourself look like an idiot by giving Mark Francois a fucking press conference. No one takes him seriously. He's not important anymore. The Spartan Brexit debates are done. It's only important within the Conservative Party itself, which is a very insular debate within the wider United Kingdom. Mark Francois is going to have no bearing on the outcome of the country beyond 2024. And the political journalism, the lobby in this country, needs to move on beyond interviewing right-wing Tory MP who has no opinions in common with the average person on the street. They're just letting them rant and rave or whatever, and it dictates the wider media apparatus as well. And I think you need to start treating these people with contempt if they are contemptible. I think Nick Ferrari is excellent at this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go off, Ed.
Yeah, I was like, what's Mark Francois done to you?
He's a loser.
You should be allowed you just picked Mark Francois out of the bunch.
He's one like, during the five families bullshit, be like, Mark Francois is having a press conference. You don't need to go.
Yeah.
You don't need to go.
Yeah.
If it was just like, fucking backbench DUP MP is having a press conference, there would be like, political journalists fighting.
Shut down.
You should see him. He's like,
I'm there every
Sammy
time.
Wilson's talking, boys.
The Avengers of the DUP are meeting today. What the fuck are you talking about? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Star Chamber, and I love that little tidbit that won't leave my mind, which is they were meant to meet in the Margaret Thatcher room, but then they couldn't get it booked out. Why do I know that?
Yes,
Why do I know that?
So I think I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast, but political journalists talk about Westminster, and the things they talk about is as interesting as individual office politics.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, oh, window's broken.
Yeah. It's colour that they just add in,
really
right?
Enjoy that. So just
No,
But you work there.
you
work there.
Well, I mean, I just quite enjoy it.
It's colour you add into like a daily article that ends up being filler in a 200-page book that they write in 5 years' time.
Yeah.
You know.
The window's broken. And Mark Francois was being nude.
With the 5 families watching him
The five
in New York.
Liz Truss was distracted by Mark Francois being nude.
He was particularly important during Brexit, after Brexit, when it was the successive withdrawal I can't even remember. It was a withdrawal agreement votes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Successive votes. And he was the most important person. And do you know who else was? Marcus Fish, Anne-Marie Trevelyan. Remember?
Steve Baker as well, right?
Yes, Steve Baker. But names now, Steve Baker still you would care about, but names now you'd go, whomst?
Mm-hmm.
But we gave them too much.
And they're still in that habit.
They miss it.
They're still in, political journalists are still in the habit of being like, well, Mark Francois is here, let's get his opinion about
I mean, there's two sides to it, isn't it? It's like with Francois and the 5 families and all this, like, this fluff that Westminster journalists do. That's one thing. But you could argue, I'm not going to be the one to argue it, he is a far more competent political operator than Susan Hall is. Like, this is a monthly thing she does on LBC. I'd say 90% of Nick Ferrari's annoyance with it was that it was the same thing last month.
It was a waste of time.
Yeah, every month she comes with nothing,
Yeah.
Like, she's just sat there waiting for a peerage.
It's like glutton for punishment. It must be quite brutal. But also be like, just prep. Just like...
I have to say, I did think about it and I thought, oh God, I'm not actually sure if I know how much a bus fare is. I think if I had to guess, I would say it was like 175. But
I think it is
gone
175 now.
Is that right? I think
It used to be 150.
That or 180.
But that sounds bad, but you just sort of go in and tap,
Also,
don't you?
you're not going to be the mayor of London. You're not in control of it.
You don't fucking know that.
Well, you're not currently running to mayor of London.
You don't know that.
I think you'd have mentioned
I
it.
would actually just like to make a declaration that my official campaign to become London's Night Tsar is on. It's open.
Is that something you can be elected to?
I don't know how it works, but all I know is I want to be it.
Yeah, I would have thought it's a appointing thing. Yeah.
That's what...
Well, I'd like to be appointed as it.
The Warehouse Project guys, Manchester's.
Yeah, I know Sacha Lord.
Yeah.
He's great.
That's a good one.
Yeah. But you see, I'm thinking less NIMBYs, more pubs.
Kill NIMBYs.
Lower business rates.
Do we not think we have enough pubs in London?
No. So licensing laws on,
Right.
but particularly as well, like quiet. So it's okay. So in central London, you should be allowed to keep your pub open until 12 o'clock without anyone kicking off about it. If you are in central London, okay? Not a residential area, central London. You chose to move there. The pub was already there. If you don't like the noise, move. Do you
Fuck
see?
off back to zone 8.
And that's going to be... No, but truly, go live in zone 2 or 3. Just don't live in zone 1, okay?
Yeah.
Pretty simple. So that's the first port of call. Second.
The rest of these pages is just Ava's manifesto.
Yeah.
Nothing else. There's no other topics.
No.